Yes, it is time for now. What? It is. What are you doing?
My green screen moved.
Oh, it is my home country's 4th of July. For happy 4th of July to family and friends watching in the States, which we have. And hope you didn't blow anything up. I hope you're okay.
This is the day that they beat back the aliens and took back the planet.
That's right. And you, of course, are dressed because Canada Day was last week. Indeed. Good stuff. How you doing, everybody? Glad to hear you. Of course, I can't hear you, but it's glad to have you watching us right now. We have a good show tonight.
I think so. We've got a wonderful guest, Lee Dickey.
Yep.
He's a comedian and a podcast host. And,
yep. And we just got into a discussion we're going to say for the show. And I want you to think about this, about things that should never be remade or rebooted. And I can't be remade. I'm a classic.
We threw away the mold. We didn't even break it.
No. Yeah, exactly. And I'm attired in my Uncle Sam outfit.
You are?
Yes. And
you couldn't find his hat.
I know. I have this big, huge Uncle Sam hat. And
he's worn it before.
I wore it for when we did quarantine karaoke.
Yeah.
Yeah. And I can't, it's in my closet somewhere, but so is everything.
Yeah, you know what? We need to go up there and sing a song one of these days.
We haven't done quarantine karaoke.
We haven't done that in ages. Well, not since we've been doing this.
No.
6 months of doing this, 7 months of doing this now.
Oh.
Can you believe that?
No.
Almost a year.
What
are we going to do for the big 1 year anniversary?
I don't know, because I'm thinking, we'll talk later. I'm thinking about rebooting it and coming back with something different. We'll talk about that.
That ain't happening. All right.
Well, it is for me.
Well,
we'll have a good time.
Oh, we got a comment already.
What? Who is it?
I don't know. Delora, happy 4th of July, John.
Oh, Delora, she's great. Thank you very much. Yeah. So, how did you enjoy the week? This heat, the whole bit. How did you
like
survive?
the heat. I like the heat. Actually, I was bugging my mom. I told her, asked her how she was doing over there.
Sure.
Because people in Vancouver were dying from the heat.
I know, it was serious stuff,
which is scary. And my mother is in Vancouver, and she's, of an advanced age.
Sure.
I mean, more advanced than my age.
Well, of course, she gave birth to you.
Yeah. Yep. She's 19 years older than I am. And so I was concerned because she does not have air conditioning in her house.
Really?
I think somebody gave her one of those small ones. But so I called her, and she was like, yeah, it's the heat, this and the heat, that. I'm like, Mom, you're desert people. Why are you complaining about the heat?
Well, she was raised
I was only there for the first 15 years of my life.
Yes. I mean, come on,
I was just
man.
bugging her about it. But and the thing is, it's not like Israel is dry heat. It's right on the Mediterranean Sea.
Yes, it is.
So it's stupid humid there.
Humid.
But it gets hot.
See, where I'm from, New England, on the eastern coast there, it is extremely humid because you have the ocean. Right, so a lot of moisture in the air.
Yeah,
much like Chicago and whatnot that have the Great Lakes. And Toronto, and places like that have a ton of humidity. So that's our. Oh, we're gonna do the weather tonight. Or
we are doing the weather
later
on. Yeah.
Okay, good. I'm excited.
James says live event at the Forks.
There is.
Where?
I thought they weren't doing one.
I didn't know. As far as I knew,
they didn't do a Canada Day one.
No, Canada Day was all virtual.
Oh, okay.
And it started at 3:00 in the afternoon.
Oh my goodness!
But so I'm gonna start off tonight with a TikTok.
I know you're,
but it's an animal video, which I thought was brilliant.
Okay, it's not one of your borderline porn ones.
That's later.
Oh, good.
But check out this bird. I mean, I've always wanted.
Bird.
I had a cockatoo.
I beg your pardon.
Not a cock or two.
I was going to say, is that how you made the swim team? I'm a riot. I love my.
I had a cockatoo. It was a freaking attack bird.
Oh,
my roommate at the time when I first moved out, he got his first credit card. So he decided he was going to buy a bird. So he goes and he buys a minor bird. And what he did was he had the cage up, and then he put speakers on either side of the cage, and he had one of those little cassettes. The one were like 30 seconds was a demo cassette.
Yeah.
And his would go back. You could do both sides of the tape, and it would play nonstop. So one side it was, "How you doing today? How you doing today? How you doing today?" And on the other side it was like, "Not bad. You? not bad. He wanted to teach the bird to talk.
The bird did this.
No, so he wanted to teach the bird to talk. So after about 4 days of this, we come home and the bird's dead. It's laying
Is this
there.
a joke?
No, I wish it was. It's laying there in the cage, feet up in the air, just like in the cartoons. So
it's not quite dead.
So I called my father, who knows the guy that from the pet shop where he bought the bird.
Right.
So the guy agreed that since he only had it for 4 days and the animal died and we were feeding it and watering it, and very soft with the badminton rackets.
Yeah, sure.
Yeah, but no, that he would replace the bird again, but he couldn't get another minor bird for like weeks. But he could get a cockatoo the next day.
I still giggle at that.
So he said, okay. So he paid a little bit extra for the cockatoo.
Right. What if he got a cockatoo?
They're bigger. And so my dad said, he says, well, what is a cockatoo? So my dad took him to another pet store that had another cockatoo.
Yeah.
And so he bought that one as well.
Okay.
And so he brought that home. I walk in and the freaking thing flies across the room and attacks me.
Well, I don't blame it.
So I'm like, I don't want this in my house. So my dad took it home and trained it.
Your dad trained a cockatoo?
Yeah. My dad's amazing with these animals.
What's the difference between a cockatoo and a cockatiel?
A cockatiel is like itty bitty.
Right.
And a cockatoo is really big.
Oh, well, of course.
Well, you'll see the cockatoo here.
Oh, you're going to show us that video. I forgot about it. Enjoy. How's not blowing up?
Tell me that's not the coolest bird you've ever. Oh, didn't you see? It's tied down.
They tied it. It's a harness.
Harness. But isn't that the coolest bird you've ever seen?
Until the ASPCA finds it.
I'm surprised feathers were flying.
Well, they look kind of naked almost, like feathers did fly out.
Well, that's a cockatoo.
Well, thank you very much for clearing that up. What now, Mark?
Oh, I see. John Newham said we should do a live
James
event.
Newham.
James. What did I call him?
John.
John.
I'm John.
You're John.
That's James Moose.
Yeah,
Who,
Moose.
when he comes to town, is going to be staying here, so you better be nice to him.
Moose.
Oh, you're so amazing.
So, anyways, he says for our 1 year show, we should do a live at the Forks.
Okay.
We could do it.
No, we can't.
We can.
No, that'll be cold. It's November.
The weather is hot, hot, hot. That's all. That's from Delora.
Oh, yeah.
And James says we're idiots.
Yeah, we are. I'm damn proud to be an idiot. James, you know me better than that. You've known me for 20 years. I'm a card-carrying idiot. I have one in my wallet.
Certifiable. So what do you think we should do? Should we bring on our guest?
Well, do you have anything else before we bring our guest?
I've got lots of stuff, but we can do that later.
All right, let's talk to our good friend Lee. Let's welcome Lee to the show. Hello, Lee. It is Lee Diggy. Nice to have you on the show. Comedian. You are also just a
podcast host.
Podcast. So you do it.
That's it.
Oh.
Hi.
Hi.
Yeah, comedian. How's it going, guys? I appreciate you having me on, and thanks for the invite. I'm happy to be here.
Not a problem. Glad to have you on the show. Now, how are you, of course, being a comedian as well? I had my first gig yesterday. It wasn't really comedy. It was more of a caricature gig, but I did a little shtick as well. And it's starting to come back. And how are you doing with that? And tell me a bit about your comedy background. How did it all get rolling?
Where are you located too? Like, where are you based on?
I'm in Toronto, actually.
Oh, okay.
I'm in Toronto. So, and the funny thing, a buddy of mine actually set us up with this interview, and he was just like, yeah, I sent him, he was just, hey, I sent these guys a clip of your work, then they'd love to have you on the show. I'm like, you sent them a clip of my work. You think I'm actually funny, as opposed to just funny looking, right? And he's just like, yeah. I'm like, perfect, great. But in terms of how it all started, like I started out I was a musician first, and like I still dabble in that every now and again.
Sure, yeah.
But when it came to the comedy thing, it just sort of, I forgot my instruments one night, and I was like, well, I like to talk and tell stories, so let's just do it. I was like, okay, I mean, I'm here. I'm not, because the gig was probably, I don't know, maybe an hour from where I live. And like, how did I forget an instrument? I don't know. I just kind of, I left it inside the front door of my house. And I just kind of, all right, I have a mouth, I have stories, I use words, fine.
There you go.
And
So, John, how does it feel to know that you could be replaced by somebody who forgot his flute?
Well, I feel fantastic, really. You know, but what instrument did you play?
I play the guitar, I play the piano, I play trumpet.
It's hard to realize halfway to the gig that you don't have your piano.
Yeah, pretty much. I was just kind of, I think that night I was supposed to play the trumpet and I realized, oh, I don't have it in the
I
car.
don't have my trumpet. Wait a minute.
And
Wait, hold on. You were going to a solo gig to play
Yeah.
the trumpet. Who the hell
I
hires
was-
just a trumpet player?
I was filling in for this actually a Latin jazz band, and I
Okay,
had
okay.
realized I had forgotten my trumpet. And the funny thing is, they no-showed the venue,
Really?
so I was like, "Well, I'm here. Hey, you want to get entertained, right?
Yep.
Great.
Bing.
Somebody hand me a mic."
Show us going. And the thing is, you're just going to play Reveille for 40 minutes.
Yeah,
If-
exactly.
since they didn't show up.
Well, that's a great way to get into the business here. And now, are you one of those people, as often we've heard, and like I keep going back to myself, that you were the class clown? Were you the funny guy? Were you?
I was quiet, honestly. I was a quiet kid. I kept my head down, kept my mouth shut, and just kept on pushing forward.
Oh, you'll do great in marriage.
Yeah, just kind of, yes, honey, everything, sure, whatever you say. Funny thing, I actually was engaged once when I was about 20 years old. Worst idea I've ever had.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
But
It's amazing how
it
many
was-
of us that fail at that say that.
But I was, when it came to like being in school or whatever, I was a quiet kid. I didn't say much. It was only speak when spoken to. Yes, sir. Yes, ma'am. Okay. And then when I got on stage, it was just kind of like it came very natural.
Oh, yeah. Oh,
when I
yeah.
got in front of an audience, it was like just like, oh, I feel right at home. It was sort of like, okay, can I get a refill of that, please? It was like the ultimate shot of
Do you
like
know what?
Novocaine or
I've mentioned this to many people, and maybe you find this as well in your line of work as a DJ. It's almost like the acceptance from the crowd is almost like therapy.
It is.
It's therapy. Like, especially if comedians, you're up there telling your story. I'm a storyteller like you. I'm not a knock joke guy. I'm not a
Yes.
joke. I'm not a setup, punchline setup. I tell stories based on my life. And it's almost better than therapy, because when I get off stage, like, all right. And these people paid me to hear my pathetic life instead of me paying a psychologist
Well,
to hear my pathetic
It's
life.
therapeutic when you get up there and you can tell
Right?
people how animals at the petting zoo walk away from you. It's like,
Yeah, well, that's a different story.
but no, for me, it's like when I see a full dance floor,
Yep.
there's nothing better. And I mean, I've got my first wedding of 2021 coming up next Saturday. I'm totally scared.
All right. Well, you'll deal with it.
It's one of those things like you guys, how do you keep your stuff fresh when you've
Well,
not
it's
been
a
on
little
there for a year and a
different
half?
when you're a comedian, because you have to remember story to connect to the next story to connect to the next story. So it has to be a nice flow. And it's when you haven't done it for 18 months, 16 months, or what have you, it's like you got to go back and do your homework, right?
Yeah.
Well, even I find that like I used to do a lot of open mics around Toronto, right? And it was just they would have them every week, but it was in the same spot, but nobody else would show up. It was very like you're playing to a small room, and they're probably I don't know. And I hate playing in small rooms. I really do. Like the larger the crowd, the happier I am. But
Well,
play small rooms, and there were probably I don't know, 20 to 40 people here at this specific open mic, and like there were barely any performers. So like the host for the night was like, "Hey, how much material you got? Hey, you got any extra in you?" I'm like, "Boss, I'm going through my entire catalog here. Okay, we're telling stories from when I was like 6 years old and falling downstairs."
Right.
Out comes the ad lib. about the people you see falling down.
You know
outside.
what? I can relate to that because sometimes when I play the casinos or you get 1,400 people in the audience. If you even get half of that laughing, it sounds like an amazing crowd. But
Yeah.
here's my issue because I'm so self-conscious and not that self-assured. That's why comedians are like that. The whole room could be laughing, and there's that one guy in the second row who's just staring at me and not laughing. And that's what I focus on. They'll say, great show. No, it wasn't really that guy, and he wasn't laughing.
And then you find out he was deaf and didn't hear any said.
Well, then he wouldn't be at a show.
Why not?
I don't
Some of the
know.
relips.
I don't. So how did you branch off into podcasts?
Well, I have a broadcast, I have a broadcasting degree, and I've worked as a freelancer and under contract to some of the biggest companies in Canada. And it was just kind of like once that kind of dried up, because I worked mainly on the local side of things. It was just like a very small station. And then once that, station kind of disappeared, I just kind of went, okay, well, what else am I going to do? Right. And I had wanted to dabble in podcasting for a while, and I had previously, then gave that up because I just didn't find that my storytelling abilities were that great, and then got back into it about 2017. And then after a while, life happened, and I took a massive break for about a year. And then probably about I'd say about this time, maybe a couple years ago, I got back into it and was really like pumping out weekly episodes. Nowadays, like since the start of 2021, I pump out like 3 a week.
Wow.
I post like 3 videos a week on YouTube. You can go to my YouTube channel, Lee Dickey TV. There's your shameless plug. So
no, that's what we're all about. Get shameless plugs.
Episodes every Monday, Wednesday, and Friday. And there's your shameless plug. You get episodes every Monday, Wednesday, and Friday, 2 p.m. Eastern. So if you go there, you get to see my mug on camera, not unlike you would see right now.
What do you mean, unlike? You have a different face?
For those days?
No, well, I mean, it takes work to look this good, slightly.
I know the feeling.
Actually, it takes me no work at all to grow this.
No, he just goes through the car wash with his top down. Not your top, but the car top.
About growing this.
Oh, you can grow a beard in like an hour. He's Israeli, and it's like if he squints and pushes hard, like he's taking a poop.
I'm a chia pet.
Full hair. He's like the Play-Doh barber shop. That's what you are. You're the Play-Doh barber shop.
Only five episodes ago, and that's weekly, I was completely shaved bald. I mean, right down to the skin.
Even his butt.
This is only 5. That's 5 weeks worth of growth, eh?
Yep.
God,
I grow mine yearly. I shave it off in January because I am a professional Santa Claus, and I enjoyed the whole myth of Santa Claus. I've actually been Santa Claus in the George Lopez movie, and I believe in Kris Kringle. I believe in Santa Claus, so I grow it. It's going to be down in here by Christmas. But this year, I have coming the what was the movie with Kurt Russell?
Telling you.
Kurt Russell Chronicles. The
Santa Claus.
The Christmas Chronicles.
Yeah, I got that suit coming. So and I totally dig it. But last year we couldn't visit, kids in the hospital or anything like that. So hopefully this year will be better. But getting back to you, because that's why you're here. You're not here to hear about us.
I'd love to hear about you. It's your show.
Oh, we'll grab lunch. Your podcast. Give us an idea of what people can expect when they watch you.
I host 2 on the regular. So the Beach Podcast, it started out as sort of a general interest, everyday life type of show, and it sort of morphed into what on the sort of entertainment aspect of, say, media I can still stomach. So not like, it's mainly like movie and TV news, trailer reviews, my opinions on if I were in charge of, say, a movie, like the first episode I did of this, like sort of how would I have miniseries was I was watching an old Freddie Prinze Jr. movie, and I was like, well, I could probably end that better had I been in charge. Because I mean, I've been a television director, I've written, and I've worked in production. So I was like, I could probably end this a different way. And I don't, I mean, I'm not knocking how the movies are made, but it's just kind of like, well, this is how I would approach something, and this is how I would sort of change how the movie would go.
Okay.
But it's mainly like what I find interesting in TV and movies, like trailer reviews and things like that. And the other one is called, so this one's called the Beats and Speaks podcast. The other one I host is Jonas.
Hold on. What's it? You said it too quick. What's it called?
This is called the Beats and Speaks podcast. That's
Beats and Speaks.
Beats and Speaks. Okay.
Yeah. Mainly, the name of the podcast actually came from me not wanting to put my name on the show because I'm not that. I'm not that.
I don't believe in it. You got to believe in it. Come on, man. It's your project.
I know, but I'm just like, I don't. It just, again, it's a lot like Hollywood and reboots these days. It just seemed like a lazy way to name a show. I didn't want to call it the Lee Dickey Show because everybody has a show.
Yeah, but no one else is Lee Dickey.
That's true, but I was just kind of like, yeah, let's build this into something. And I just kind of, I didn't want to put my name smack dab in the middle because I'm not that narcissistic.
No, you don't have to be narcissistic to be proud of your work.
Well, I am proud of my work. I just didn't want to put my name like right there.
Okay, and, I'll let it go. I'll let it go this time.
And the other one is called Yo Nostalgia. So it's like pop culture from, say, the 70s all the way up to, say, the mid 2000s.
Oh, man, this guy right here is our kind of guy. Because I collect toys from the 60s and 70s. Evel Knievel, $6 Million Man, all that stuff. Superman, Batman, you name it. I got it all. And no, I'm definitely going to tune into your podcast. But remember, we were talking before we went on air about these reboots that you just mentioned. Wasn't that long
ago? I do remember.
Yes, it was only before you started drinking this hour. This is his homemade beer. The guy's a brewmaster.
Now the beer, the bottle's invisible.
Oh, look at that! It is.
There you go.
Yeah. So's my liver.
No, put it in front of yours. Nope, doesn't work.
No. Anyway, so we were talking about reboots. Do you mind if we touch on that?
Sure, we can.
Because we were talking about things that shouldn't be done. And I brought up the Rob Zombie Munsters reboot. He's going to make the Munsters movie and cast his talentless wife as Lily.
Hasn't his wife been in every project that he's done?
Absolutely.
Like House of a Thousand Corpses, the Halloween remakes.
Yeah, and I don't get it. And the thing is, don't touch hallowed ground.
The only thing she wasn't in was the sex tape.
Yeah, that was the pool boy. But the Munsters, we're talking Fred Gwynne. We're talking Yvonne DiCarlo. We're talking Al Lewis. And Butch Patrick. You don't mess with a classic. They've tried to reboot the Munsters 4 times. And 4 times it failed.
It's failed, yeah.
Addams Family was good.
Addams Family, and we talked about this. That was a fairly decent reboot. However, the Munsters are more lovable simply because Herman's such a big, lovable goof. It's hard to recast him and make him that way. Now,
that's true.
Now they rebooted. We talked about the new $6 Million Man movie, where Jim Carrey was supposedly eyed to play the part. Which I don't get it.
Yeah, I'd rather see Ben Affleck as it.
He would be good.
Yeah, but the thing is like Star Trek was a good reboot.
You know what? It was a good reboot.
Get Smart was a good reboot.
Yep.
Battlestar Galactica was a good reboot.
I didn't see that.
I did. Those were all good reboots. Lost in Space.
I didn't like the reboot.
The Netflix one was fantastic. The one that was the movie from 20 years ago or whatever it was.
It wasn't 20 years ago.
Must be.
No, cut the shit.
Was that the one with Tim Allen? That was the one with Tim Allen, I think, right?
No. That was Space.
Oh, Space Quest.
Space Quest.
And that wasn't a reboot as much as it was a spoof.
No. There's something about the campiness of the 60s sci-fi shows like Land of the Giants, right?
Lost in Space.
And all those neat shows. It's like, God forbid someone tries to remake The Wizard of Oz. I know they tried with The Wiz. 98 is when they did it.
That's when they did that movie, yeah.
Okay, you win. But like,
no, you win because it was 24 years, not 20.
Shut up. The Wizard of Oz is one of my favorite movies. You don't remake that.
Well, okay, I'll give you that.
Like, you wouldn't touch that. I mean, it's to
Gone
be
with
fair,
the
I never
Wind.
understood. I never understood.
The Wiz was.
I never understood the Wizard of Oz. It wasn't necessarily my thing. That's more of like my dad loved that movie.
Oh, it's a great movie. As you get older, you'll appreciate it more. But when I grew up, it was on once a year. We didn't have VCRs. We didn't have click a button. There's the movie, right?
That and It's a Wonderful Life.
It was on once a year. Don't remake A Wonderful Life, man.
The Ten
I
Commandments.
will find you and I will kill you. The thing about the Wizard of Oz, it was on once a year, and it was a big deal in my house. The Wizard of Oz is on tonight. And my mom used to use that as leverage. If you don't finish your Brussels sprouts, there's no Wizard of Oz. Right? Yeah.
And that was the night she made sure they had Brussels sprouts.
Yeah, she Brussels sprouts.
That was the easiest way to bribe you guys, though, right?
Wizard of Oz,
eat your vegetables.
Yeah, and raw catfish. But somewhat like Casablanca. You don't remake Casablanca. You don't remake, it's just something should not be touched. But you and I mentioned before we went on air that, and I'm going to ask you point blank, is Hollywood getting lazy?
Yeah. Like, it's just, I mean, I've done videos on these topics. Like, there's a Perfect Strangers reboot. Like, everybody that was around in the 80s, early Perfect Strangers, Bronson Pinchot, Marklin Baker, right? And then you've got The Dance of Joy. Now we are so happy we do The Dance of Joy.
The Dance of Joy.
It's like the Carlton dance.
It's just, I read this article and reported on that reboot that was in the works at HBO Max, and I went, why? Like, why do we need... It's like, it's such an 80s and 90s sort of nostalgia trip, and it was such a 80s, 90s centric show that why do you need to reboot it for this new generation? It's just...
Yeah.
I mean, we're not allergic to new ideas, right? Like, we like new. You can give us new. It's not like we're going to go, gaga for just these old sort of shows from like 30, 40 years ago.
Let me put this to you. Do you think it's because people are going to ride that nostalgia wave and they are betting on they're going to watch it? And watch it, because look what happened with Punky Brewster, the remake.
Mm-hmm.
What the fuck was that?
I'm sure that was just sort of Hollywood going, we haven't done this in a while.
No, why
not?
Punky Brewster remake. Give me a break.
And I just kind of thought, like, what is that? Like, why would you? And there's The Dance of Joy, right? As you guys can see on screen. Now we are so happy we do The Dance of Joy. And it's just, and I read this, getting back to this Perfect Strangers reboot, like, I don't know who, to be fair, like, I don't know who the leads in this reboot are. Like, Robin Thede and I think London Hughes is her name. I have no idea who they are. I haven't seen any of...
The Dance of Joy was actually started. The Marx Brothers did that in A Night at the Opera. The whole leg thing with Harpo and Groucho, and Harpo bopped up in his arms at the end. But it wasn't called The Dance.
I didn't know. I didn't know that.
Yeah.
But,
Groucho Marx, if you want to do some research on probably what I consider the best orator of comedy, he's a brilliant speaker. As far as he's one of the only comedians that has his writings in the Library of Congress in the United States.
Because he was just that good.
He was that good. And he always said he wanted to be a writer. He never wanted to be a comedian. And one of the first autographs, I have it on the wall over here going up the stairs, that I got was from Groucho Marx. I wrote to him when I was in 7th grade. And he sent me an autograph picture back, and to John, sincere regards, Groucho. And I just love, he was such an anti-establishment comedian, and long before Lenny Bruce and any of those people. And it still holds true today. But yeah, the Dance of Joy, he was Captain Spaulding in the movie, and he did the whole leg movement and the whole thing. I'm not saying they took it from that, but it's very similar to that.
It's very,
to this one here.
What's that? Oh no.
Oh, the Carlton. Yes, the good old Carlton. It's
Is there
not
sound?
unusual to be. Yeah.
Is there sound?
I don't know.
I actually I covered the theme song to this when I
Did
was
you really?
yeah, I've like in my live sets I constantly cover the theme song to the Fresh Prince of Bel-Air because
You
it's
know,
such a like that's just one of the things I remember off the top of my head.
there's a special coming up on CNN. Funny you mention that. All about the history of the sitcom, and it's going to be actually it's a 2-week series. Well, it's one weekend and another weekend.
It's probably a limited series. Yeah, I would think
Yeah,
it's probably a
CNN
limited
pops
series.
those up once in a while.
I'm looking forward to that.
Yeah, me too. And they talked about the fact that in the 70s and the 60s, the theme song was everything with a sitcom.
It was even in the 80s and like I
Yeah,
could say
yeah,
right up
yeah.
until like
Favorite theme song from a 70s show.
Happy Days.
Okay.
Welcome
Lee?
Back, Kotter.
Yeah,
Very good.
Welcome Back,
John
Kotter.
Sebastian from Loving Spoonful.
Back.
That was John Sebastian from Loving Spoonful. played it.
WKRP in Cincinnati.
That's a good one too.
Baby, if you've ever
Mary
never
Tyler Moore, who
wondered.
can turn the world on with
Yep,
a
yep.
smile. Everything had a theme song, and
Ba-da-ba-da-dum.
well, that's if you didn't want to sing.
No, but I love that one too. Gilligan's Island.
Yep. Oh God,
Here's the
Gilligan's
tale of our
Island.
castaways. They're
Yeah.
here for a
And
long,
we all
long
know
time.
Hawaii.
him. We all know him, right?
Hawaii 5-0.
Hawaii
Yeah,
5-0,
yeah.
yep.
No,
yep.
there's
I
no-
know it's,
well,
it's
there's
a
no-
complete
there's no
instrumental,
words
but
to it.
like it's such a But it's such
This is from a little bit later on in the 80s.
But it did go on in the 80s as well.
The
You're
Greatest
right.
American
Yeah.
Hero from the 80s.
Greatest American Hero,
Yes.
absolutely.
Believe it or not, I'm walking on air. Yeah.
Yeah. But you don't see it. You know what? I'm correcting myself before I say it. I was going to say you don't see that today, but the Big Bang Theory,
Big
we all
Bang
know.
Theory
We
is
all know
from
the
the Bare
song
Naked
"Bare
Ladies.
Naked Ladies."
Great thing. Yeah.
Oh yeah.
I opened up a convention, like I was the MC for the convention, and I had printed out the lyrics for everybody.
You told me this story.
And I handed them out, and I got up there with my guitar and started playing, and got everybody. I had the whole auditorium singing the Big Bang Theory, but not only what you see, but the entire song. There's a whole song to it.
Oh, I know. Yeah. So it's going to be. I'm looking forward to that series. And
Because it's like it's a 2-minute song, like just cut down to like 30 seconds, right?
Well, they
Yeah.
only sing the first verse. That's
Yeah.
all. They only sing the first verse.
I think like my favorite theme song like of all time would be like the theme to Who's the Boss.
Who's the Boss? Yeah.
Yeah.
really,
Brandon, yeah, no, that's been my ringtone.
I
for
can't
probably,
even.
like,
I can't even get it in my
Facts
head.
of Life. There you
Yes.
go.
No, that's because you had a thing for Tootie.
Everybody had a thing for Tootie.
Yeah, Rudy Tootie. There you go. You're a sick fuck. And oh boy, you know what? I'd love to be on your show, and I could show all my '70s toys, and we can talk about pop culture that way.
Yeah, we'll have to set up an interview and to have you on. Like I haven't done interviews in a while, but I'm willing to have anybody on. So
Oh, we got the studio here. We can have lots of fun. He
yeah,
collects
you
toys.
and I will have to do an interview one day.
Yeah, no kidding. So, where is Let me ask you this because
Where is Toronto?
Yeah, you're talking about your pop culture show, and I'm huge on pop culture. I just
Yep.
love every bit of it, and I collect a lot of things from pop culture, and I live in that type of mindset. If you could go back to any decade of pop culture, I didn't word that correctly. If you go back to any decade, what would it be to enjoy that pop culture type thing?
Probably, you know what? As much as I loved you growing up in the 90s and early 2000s, and as much as I think I'd love the 80s, I would love to go back to the 50s just to see, like the 50s and 60s,
Yeah,
just to see what like my parents grew up on.
yeah.
Just because I think that would be fun, just to see what it was like for them, and just kind of just be a fly on the wall. Like my dad was a huge fan of the Beatles. My
Oh,
mom loves
You're
Elvis,
talking to the Beatle King right here.
and
Oh.
it's something that
I'm going to show you something I'm working on right now. Here, hold my flag. Who can turn the world on? With
I'm a Canadian.
what?
Your flag went over there. I'm a Canadian. I'm not waving that around.
So is waving the
know
American
what?
flag
Canada,
kind of
Canada,
sacrilege?
Canada to the U.S. is like that slow learning cousin living in the attic above us.
Don't be so hard on yourselves.
No, I'm talking about you guys. Okay, I'm also an illustrator. My work's been in Mad Magazine. I've worked for Hanna-Barbera. And I'm doing a whole series of pop culture stuff. And these are going to be cut out, okay, and freestanding. Here's Paul McCartney.
Oh, wow.
Paul
Okay.
McCartney from the 1964 animated cartoon, right?
Holy cow. It's so cool.
And here comes Mr. Lennon is in the works.
Look at all
Oh,
the
there we are. Look at that.
all that stuff that's see through here, like over here,
It's green.
is all
Yeah.
green,
That's,
Yeah.
yeah.
Yeah, and I do a lot of pop
Wow.
culture work.
and he uses a lot of green.
Yeah. So if you
Wow.
want anything, yeah.
I'm,
I-
assu-
So
I'm
anybody
assuming,
want a caricature?
well, hold on, he's talking.
Talk to this man.
like,
Go ahead.
I'm assuming that you did the logo for the show then.
Yeah, that's us. Yeah, I did that. Yep.
That's you? Yeah.
Yep. I have.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, no kidding. And it's a lot of fun. But that's why I love that whole era of loud colors,
Yeah.
smooth lines, lots of fun, before the world went. Well, I shouldn't say that because time smooths things out. The 60s were very turbulent in both culture and politics.
Politics.
Right.
And now we're back to
it
that.
probably was the most changing decade in history.
Oh,
It only
well,
took about
that's
60
really
years
good,
for it all to come around. Yeah.
Yeah, and it's the whole peace and love movement, I think, was absolutely wonderful. And I like to see it's still going on today. A lot of people are tapping into that, right? Especially after what we've been through.
But I think you're
Right.
seeing a lot of it, a lot of the mistakes that were happening before that coming back,
Well, yeah,
and that's the sad.
the
part.
racism
About what's
is
going on.
huge now again.
Systemic racism.
Well,
is
it's
not only
it's
the
not
States,
huge again.
it's
It's always
everywhere.
been there, but
It's coming
people
out.
feel more comfortable expressing their racism
In this
because
world-
of that
Right.
asshole
It's
we
just-
had in the
it's-
White House.
It's bubbling towards the surface again. And I think that's the big issue, right?
Well, that's
the
all
other part of
because
it is the weekend, the keyboard warriors. I mean, a lot of it is
that's a
that
great
you don't,
phrase.
you
Keyboard
don't
warriors.
even have to be seen anymore. You can say what you want to say. Nobody knows who you are, what you are. You can have some stupid nickname like John 1972 or whatever, and nobody knows who you are.
That's my password.
I know. I just told it to everybody. So now you have access to his bank. No,
Oh,
but
good.
my
Enjoy the
point-
$4.
Yeah, my point
Right.
is that everybody can say whatever they want without being having the fingers pointed at them.
Yeah, with no
Right.
ramifications.
Yeah, and it's like, you know what, and it's you would never say something like that to somebody's face.
No,
You wouldn't have the balls to do it in a
No.
lot of cases.
we're seeing a huge rise in anti-Semitism. We're seeing a huge rise against Muslims. We're seeing a
Right.
huge rise against African Americans again. And
Right.
I don't really like the term African American or Cuban American or Italian American. If you're in the state, you're an American. I think we should just say you're an American. I appreciate the fact, where you're from, but you're
Yeah,
an American. Not to be putting a label on somebody, but I think that's people either have to move forward or let go.
well, it's
I'll
also
let go, yeah.
the use of terms. It's like,
It's a term I don't think we need. We don't need to label. We're fighting labels right now.
but people also say, "What race are you?" I'm
No,
a human
forget it.
being.
Yeah, I'm a human
That's the-
being.
What culture am I? That's different.
Yeah, because you're
Yeah.
Israeli,
I'm
you're-
an Israeli
You're Jewish.
Englishman.
Yep, and I'm a Swedish, Scottish from Boston, but I don't put that in my moniker.
Right. Yeah.
You got a minute, I'll tell you my heritage. But we're all one for crying out loud.
I
Can't we
figured-
just understand
We're
that?
all, we're all
on a little-
people.
We're on a little blue ball in the middle of the universe.
Here-
We have nowhere to go. Let's all get along.
100 years ago,
Yeah.
it was very odd to see mixed culture marriages
Of course, no.
because
oh,
and the biggest reason is that it was harder to get around for us, but now we can fly anywhere, be anywhere, meet
Yeah.
anybody. I give it another 60 years and the entire planet's going to be brown.
that's
we're going
fantastic.
to be beige
Yeah.
because of the intermixing.
Beige.
We're just going to be beige.
I'm waiting for it to be plaid.
Well, that could be happening to you, but I mean, it's getting to the point where there's more intercultural marriages
And that's wonderful.
than same culture marriages.
That's wonderful.
And I think that's the way it needs to
That's
go.
the way it needs to go. We're all one.
Well, I mean, like my dad was like British and Scottish from he's from Michigan, or he was from Michigan originally, and my mom is from the Philippines. So there you
Oh,
go.
no way. Really?
Yeah, I've
Yeah.
got a stepmother from the Philippines.
We live in a Filipino neighborhood.
Yes, we do. A very
Yep.
strong Filipino neighborhood.
Yeah, they call me the white guy
Yes, they do.
Yeah.
because he's brown and
I just blend in.
I'm just white.
My neighborhood here is mostly East Indian and Filipino.
East Indian Filipino.
So
yeah.
I walk
Right.
out. I walk out there. I just blend in with the crowd.
Yeah.
John is like this beacon, and airplanes actually divert because he's so visible.
Yeah, right. It's so white you can see my
Oh,
blood
man.
flow. But I think the world is starting to shift. Thank goodness for the younger generation. My daughter's 32. My son's going to be 30. They have a more open mind. I'm totally schooled all the time about my kids. Right. My dad, however, who's 90, comes from the Archie Bunker days, where oh, that colored guy or this thing.
Archie
Dad,
Bunker
you can't
was based
say
on
that
his
anymore.
father.
And we're like, Dad, you can't do that anymore. You know.
My dad comes up once in a while and says something like that.
You know, you got to correct them and say it's not appropriate now. You know, but we live in a very complex world.
You know, and it also comes up from upbringing too. Like, you know, a lot of racism isn't something that you just have. It's something
No.
you're taught. When I was a kid, this family moved in.
Wait,
around
before you tell the story, is it going to get us
No.
in trouble? Okay.
No. When I was a child,
Yes.
my dad came home and I asked if I could go play with the white boys.
Oh.
And my dad just lost it on me because my dad's whiter than you. He makes you look like
I know
me.
your dad's.
My dad's English.
Yeah,
right?
great guy. Got
but,
the accent. And
you know,
everything.
and so he's like, "Where did you learn to talk like that?" And blah 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 blah. My mother had to slow him down and say, "That's their last name." The last name was white.
Wow.
So I wanted to go play with the white boys.
Okay.
I mean, they were darker than I was.
Okay.
But their last name was white.
Oh, you had me
Right,
almost
right.
angry there.
No, but my dad just lost it.
Oh,
Like,
that-
you know, how could you talk like that? I raised you better, or you know, I'm raising you better than that.
Yeah.
And this, and my mom's like, Robin, slow your wheel. You know?
They're down the street.
yeah.
That's their last name.
You know what I mean? Yeah.
So
Yeah.
is your
Dixon
family
boys.
still all in Michigan?
My dad's younger brother his older brother is in New Jersey,
Jersey. I love New
Yeah.
Jersey.
and like most of
Who lives in
my
New
mom.
Jersey?
I lived in New Jersey. I love it.
Which part?
Atlantic City. I lived on an island called Brigantine off the coast of Atlantic City.
So you basically lived in Las Vegas Junior.
Yeah, pretty much. I had
Yeah.
the Ocean One Mall there. I don't know if it's still there, but I had a caricature kiosk inside the mall there, and I had a beach house, which was pretty good in your mid-20s. Let me tell
Yeah,
you.
I can
Is that
say.
like
I
a
mean,
gambling
mid 20s,
outfit?
you living on the beach.
Yeah, no kidding. It really worked well for me in so many levels.
There's a gambling hub on the east side as well.
Yeah, Atlantic City.
Okay,
Yeah.
Yeah.
You never heard of Atlantic City?
I know Atlantic City, but I don't know where these.
Oh, it's
places
right
are.
on the ocean in New Jersey.
I mean, I know that they're south of me, and they can stay there.
All right, we'll deal with it. Of
And
course,
that's
you ask
about
me-
it.
You
Yeah,
ask
but-
somebody, of course, you ask somebody from New Jersey where Saskatoon is, they'll just stare at you.
Yeah.
So,
They still
It-
think
yeah.
Canada is a province.
yeah, I know.
Or
What state is it?
They think
What
it's a
state is
state.
Canada in?
I'll
Yeah.
never
The one
forget.
that's north of you.
I'll never forget. I flew into Montreal to do the Montreal Just for Laughs festival,
Mhm.
and there were a bunch of other comedians on the waiting for our pickup that was taking us to the hotel. And there was this guy, a comedian from Texas, the young guy, and he goes, "Are you from Canada?" I go, "No, but I've been living here for about 20 years. This was years and years ago." And he said, "Well, how big is Canada?" I said, "Well, what do you mean?" He goes, "Well, compared to a state, how big is it? Like the size of North Carolina?" I go, "Kid, it's bigger than the entire landmass of the USA." He goes, "No, it isn't." I go, "Yeah, it
You
is."
can put the
And then
United
this
States
is what he
in
said.
1.5 times.
This really put the old on the cousin thing. He said, "My daddy says USA is the biggest country in the world." I said, "Well, your daddy ain't wrong." You know?
And that guy voted for Trump.
No, definitely Trump supporter. He was Trump's right-hand man, I'm sure, by now.
Oh,
Lord
brother.
almighty. Well, you have been an absolute fantastic guest, and I want to tell you, Lee, I'd love to have you back, and we'd love to be on your show, and we'll just keep bopping back and forth because I find you extremely entertaining, knowledgeable, and you put up with us. So hey,
I appreciate you guys putting up with me and wanting to have me on the show. I'm just happy to be here. So thanks again for having me on.
not a problem.
Thank you so much. Have a great one.
We'll see you again,
You
Lee.
too.
You can bet
Thank
on it.
you. Appreciate it. Have a good night, guys.
You too,
Bet.
pal. What a great guest.
Yeah, he's awesome.
He was, I mean, the guy is my kind of guy. Like, he talks my language about pop culture, and you know, you can tell he's a family guy, and he's smart, and intelligent, and unlike us.
Very much so.
Yeah, exactly. Oh, it's time for the weather, ladies and gentlemen.
Smart Sound.
Oh, it was a hot one. It was a nut burner.
Yes, it was.
Look at that.
34 degrees today is what we were at.
Yep.
Right now we're at 30.
And that's tomorrow?
And so tomorrow, Monday, we are at 27 degrees.
Not bad. We're going down there.
And then Tuesday, it's going to be a nice 22 degrees.
Perfect golf weather.
Perfect golf weather. And then it starts going back up again on Wednesday. Cloudy on Thursday with 23 degrees, 27 degrees on Friday. And we are back to 30 degrees on Saturday. That's going to be the day for that wedding. And my God.
And now you're going to be in a hall, though. You're not outside.
Yeah, I'm going to be in a
Like
hall.
the gig I did yesterday was outside.
Yeah.
And that was warm.
So here, check this out.
What am I checking?
This is in the ocean.
Oh, yeah. The fire in the ocean.
Yeah, this is burning.
Smoke on the water. That fire engine guy.
The fire engine guy, yeah.
Slow moving
But look,
Walter.
what gets me is they're spraying it with water,
Yes.
trying to keep it in control.
But I asked somebody about this, and they said, yes, you can put out a gas fire. If it's an oil fire, you can't do it on water with water, but you can put out a gas fire with water on water. I know it sounds redundant.
It's very redundant, but I guess they're just trying to smother. They're just trying to keep it in control.
Yeah.
I guess.
So what was the outcome of that?
It's still going. I think. I don't know.
Well, let's give the backstory. They were drilling for natural gas.
It's a line rupture.
Oh, okay.
And it's spewing horrible gas into, and it
Kind of like you in the morning.
Yeah, but I don't catch fire.
You should.
So
I'm surprised you haven't.
okay, so back to my TikTok.
Hey, Moose, when are you coming to town? Never mind. Go ahead.
Back to my TikToks. So there's a couple of ones that I really, really like.
Yes.
This is manual dexterity is an amazing thing.
Yes.
Manual dexterity is an amazing thing.
It is, certainly.
Watch this guy here.
Okay, I'm. I'm trying to figure out how he's doing this. Where'd they come from?
Behind him.
What's the guy in a friggin' octopus?
But check this out. This is brilliant.
Looks like the Olympic symbols on acid.
After you've watched them, yeah.
Does anybody even watch the Olympics anymore?
Yeah, apparently so.
I remember it was a big thing when I was a kid. This is beautiful. That's incredible. Wow. I feel totally inadequate now.
Isn't that amazing?
That was incredible.
And that's like coming from a juggling kind of background,
Obviously.
right? This is from a magic point of background.
Okay.
The dexterity here is amazing. I've tried to do stuff like this.
You
but
do
I
great
can't.
card tricks.
Second, I'm freaking it out. I'm watching trials and trusty, I was peeping it out. She turned around and was trying to put my dick in the mouth. I let her.
How do you do that?
I don't know. Fun with balls.
Isn't that amazing though? Like why? Like and the ball's changing color that quick. He's moving the ball that quick.
I can't believe it.
And then, do you have any favorite TV shows like that?
What do you mean?
Like from other countries?
Well, I voice a character on the show.
No, I
called
don't
Super
talking about the
Strikers.
thing you do, but that you watch. One of my favorites is
Oh, Faulty Towers.
Faulty Towers. Is great, yeah.
Definitely.
On the buses
Are You Being
was great.
Served?
Are You Being Served?
Yep.
Mary Brown's Boys.
Oh, God, I love Mary Brown. You know what? No one, I had to convince, Lori, her mom, that was a guy.
Yeah, and the one that plays her daughter is his wife,
Yeah.
right? So I found a clip on TikTok that
Okay.
they played, and it's a tongue
Did you
twister one.
see the one where she did the not waxing, but she did the
yes.
and
Oh,
she was under the stairs in the cupboard pulling them off.
yeah.
Oh,
It's
if you
great.
haven't seen Mary Brown's Boys, check it out. It is absolutely hilarious.
So I've got a clip here. When the rules say it's allowed, he says.
All right, Moose. We'll see you then.
Winnipeg will still be here. So in this one, it's done live and in one shot. They don't do take after take after take.
No, they don't.
If they screw up a line, they screw up the
They
line
roll with it.
and they roll with it, and they'll go back. You'll see them rewind and just go over the line again.
Yes.
So in this one, there is a tongue twister,
Okay.
and she keeps throwing it at her son.
Okay.
But there's one line, and she ends up looking at his wife, who's her daughter in the show, and you know what's being said there. Check this out.
Well, let's
Check
see
this
it.
out.
Damn it. Did Winnie tell you? Peggy Piper, the poisoner's getting out of prison.
Bring it full
Yeah.
screen.
I can't believe Peggy
as big as it
Piper,
gets.
who poisoned her partner Peter Piper by plonking poison powder into his perno, is getting out of prison. Hello, Cathy.
Point that somewhere else, Buster.
And be careful with that tank buster. It's only rented out. It cost me a fortune to replace it.
Here. What's up?
Oh. Tell her, damn it.
I love this show.
Yeah, me too. It's one of my favorites.
They're already starting to lose
Peggy
it.
Piper, who poisoned her partner Peter Piper by plonking poison powder into his perno, is getting out of prison.
Yeah, I heard that.
I can't believe the Peggy poisoner is getting out. I can't do it if you make me laugh. Where'd you hear that before? Oh, yeah. I can't believe that Peggy, the poison... I wouldn't be fucking laughing yet now.
Okay.
I can't believe that Peggy, the perno poisoner, is getting out on bail.
It's not bail. She's appealing.
I wouldn't say appealing. She's attractive in a rough kind of way.
Appealing her sentence.
Oh.
She's out pending her appeal.
Hang on. Are you saying Peggy Piper, who poisoned her partner Peter Piper by popping poison powder into his perno, is getting out of prison pending an appeal?
Possibly.
That's brilliant.
Everyone's looking very gloomy. What's wrong?
You walked into the booking room. Tell you now. Tell him, Dermot. Dermot! Tell him! Not so fucking funny now, is it? It's terrible news. Shut up, you! Tell him, Dermot. Come on, tell him.
Peggy Piper's fucked.
Oh, well done.
It's terrible news.
That was great.
So that's why that show is so endearing to me.
Yeah, it's a great
Oh,
show.
my Lord.
Ah, well, we've come to the end of another show, have we?
Yeah, I think so. I don't think I've got anything else.
Well, you do, but don't show that again.
No, that was all of it.
All right, man.
I just want to watch The Bird one more time.
What?
The Bird. That's the window surfing cockatoo.
Oh, I had a good one, but he shut the mic off.
No,
Well,
it automatically goes off
Well,
when
like
videos
it,
are played.
man. Another fine week here at Now What?
Oh my God, that was great.
We'll be back next weekend. The
Oh,
weekend
yeah.
after that, I don't know what's going on. It's my birthday, so I might be out of town. But if I'm not out of town, I'll be here. If I'm here, you'll see me.
Well, Well, that's odd.
What? What happened?
The end credit didn't load up.
Oh, come on.
So,
Mark,
I'm going to cheat.
what are you going to do?
This.
What? I'm all confused. That was great. I'm trying to follow it. And very well done. Oh, chicken soup.
Yeah.
There's no H.
Not editing it now.
No, it's fun now. Sounds like a hot bowl of chicken soup. Well done. That was a lot of fun. He is a really good guest. I can.
Yep.
I can.
And that's kicking soup. Yeah, John, that's kicking soup.
Yep, I love chicken soup.
That's how you make kicking soup. I can't. Oh, I can't get rid of it. There it is. Hey, everybody. Bye-bye.
Bye. Love you. See you.
I can't find the button.
Find the button, for Christ's sake.